Hi there, I'm Hao, and this is just another video of me solving randomly for problem. So let's begin. A substring with concatenation of all words. So given a string S in an array of string words, all the string in the words are of the same length. So that's very important here, all the same length. And a concatenate the string is a string that is exactly containing all the string of any permutation of the concatenated word. Right? So if we have A, B, C, D, E, F here, right? Then this is a permutation of that, right? A permutation, right, is how many ways we can arrange a set of numbers, right? A set of things. Um, how many ways we arrange it, right? So like in for example, if we have 1, 2, 3, we can arrange it like this, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, and then 3, 1, 2, and then 3, 2, 1, right? So it is the permutation of them, right? But in this case, right, we have to count a string as an, a thing, right? A string of an element, right? So AB is a thing, right? DE is a thing, and then ABCD, right? And then EF, right? So we cannot do AC here, right? You have to pick one element at a time. So you can like so you can treat this as 1, 2, and 3, right? And we can arrange them like before 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Yeah, so these are all six valid combination because we have three input. So three uh, factorial is a six, right? Okay, because every time we select one thing, we're gonna have one less choice, right? So this is a factorial. But this is not valid, right? AC ACD B is not valid because we don't have the AC here, right? It's not a permutation. Okay, so we need to return an array of the starting indices of all concatenated substring in S. You can return the answer in any order. Okay, so um, how do we know that we have already used a word or not, right? Because the word in here can have duplicates, right? They are not unique. So for example, in the second example here, we can see that the word right can have duplicates, right? So before we start, we need to keep track of how many words we can use, right? Right, so good is one, right? And then best is one, right? And then we can iterate through the string, right? So let's say we have were, good, right? Good, good, best, were, right? We can start from here and stop at here, right? So because we know that every word gonna have uh the same length, right? And then we know that it has to be a permutation, which means the length of the substring, right? The length of the substring has to be equal to the total words, right? Total words multiplied by the length of each word, right? Length of each word, right? And in this case, it equal to, so we have four words in total, right? Which is the words of length, right? Multiplied by the length of each word, which is four, right? So we're gonna have, so each substring gonna have, so each valid substring will must be of length 16, right? 16 here, right? So we're gonna go from here to here, right? And then we can check that the next one, right? Right, one, right? This range to this range, right? And then this range to this range, or so on and so forth, right? We need to go one by one, right? Because we can have a letter in the front. We don't know where the actual substring starts, right? So we need to check letter by letter. Okay, so every time we're gonna look at the substring, right, of length 16, right? The next time we're gonna look at, right, the next 16, right? And then we're gonna stop when the remaining characters have less than 16, right? 16 characters. Okay, so every time we look at the substring, right, we need to so we know that our I is always here, right? Our eyes. So every time we look at a substring from I to I plus the substring line, right? Substring line. So every time we look at the substring, we're gonna uh, decide whether or not this string is valid. Right? If it is valid, then we're gonna add I to our result, right? Indice result, right? Because we need to add the starting indices. Right? That is what is required. So how do we know that it is valid? So we know that it is valid if it is a permutation of this string, right? So because we know the word are at the same line, we can split up the word, right, into we can split up the substring into each word, right, into forward and then count them, right? We cannot subtract it directly into our counter here because we're gonna reuse it later for the next substring, right? So you can count it, right? So this is the word is one, right? Good is three, right? And we're gonna iterate through uh the the current uh counter, right, and compare the value of the word, right? The quantity of the word with our original counter, right? It is two, the word only one, but we have two word, right, in our original counter, so we can just return false, right? And if that doesn't work, we can look at the next option, right? So the next option is gonna be here, right? This way, right? And we're not gonna have a valid word, right? Because this is not a word, right? So I'm just gonna skip it and then go all the way to this spot right here. Right, so this is our next potential valid substring. So our I gonna be here, right? So we have right, three good and then one bad, right? Right, which is also not valid here because the quantity are different, right? Right? So we can continue here. Right, we need to go one index by one, but in this case, I'm just gonna skip it to save time here. Okay, so now we have two good, right? Right, one best and then one word, right? So we only have one good here, so that is not valid, right? So we just stop here, right? Because if we increment one more spot, right? Our eyes here, then we're not gonna have enough 15 characters, right? So we're gonna iterate from I to s dot length, right? Minus the substring size, right? Plus one. Okay. Why plus one? Because s dot length, right, is the length of the string and it is the zero index. So after we minus the substring line, for example, we will stop at index we stop at one index before, right? So we need to add one so that we can get to the end of the string. Right. So for example, this string is how many words, how many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So 6 divided by 4 is 24, right? So F is 24, right? So we stop at index 23, right? And then the substring line is 16, right? Substring line is 15. So which means we go to how many index 0 to 23, right? So the line here 23 minus 16 is 7, right? Plus 1 is 8. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, right? Okay. So while it is less than 8, right, and we can keep less than or equal to 8, we can keep going, right? So when it's less than 8, we can keep going, right? So when this is equal to 8, we will break the while loop, right? And if we do it like that, we will not be able to look at the last substring, right? So we need to add one to it, so that we can iterate from 0 to less than or equal to 8. Okay, so that is pretty much it. That is our strategy there. Um, so we need to iterate through the whole string, right? So that is O of n, right? This is the length of s, right? And how many times do we need to iterate through the string? We need to iterate through it b times, right? Where b gonna be the length of the substring, right? Because we need to because in the worst case, right, the sub the substring gonna have the length 1, right? So we have to iterate over every word, right? But then for each substring, right, we need to split the word up, right? Like this, right? We need to split the word up and then count them, right? So that's why we multiply by b here, which is the length of this substring. And then we need to account for the time. We do the capture here, right? So we iterate over every single word. So that is plus a, where a is going to be the line of the word, total number of words. Okay, so that is our algorithm. So let's pull this up. Okay, so we need a total words, right? Total words equal to root of n. Okay. And then we need total words and then word length. The length of each word gonna be word 0, right? That length. We have the substring size, substring size, right, equal to the total words, right, multiplied by the word length, right? Because uh we need the substring, right, have to be the permutation of everything of the words array, right? So it has to be we have to include every single word. So we take the word length of each word, right, and multiply by the total words. And we need our word after here for counting, and then we need our indices for the result, right? And then we can return the indices at the end. Before we start, we need to count the word that we have, the number of occurrence of each word. Right. So words after that word equal to words after word plus 1 or 1. So if this one is already exists, right, you can just add 1 to it, right? Otherwise, it's gonna return 85. 85 plus 1 is not a number or no, so you can just put 1 here. Okay. So after we add the word, we need to iterate to the string, right? So from 0 to s of length, right, minus the substring size, remember, plus 1, as I mentioned earlier. So the plus 1 here, so that we can look at the last substring. Okay, so for every substring, right, we just have to check whether the string is valid. Right? We can pass in the index here. We don't have to make a copy of the string substring, right? That costs us a lot of time. So we can just simply pass in the index here. So it can slide later on. Um, so if it is valid, then we can do indices of push, right? Uh, which is the left index here, the starting indices, right? So cons valid, check in the left index, and then the right index, right? So we have our current pattern. Right? So y left index is less than the right index. To remember the right index here, right? Gonna be exclusive, right? So which means when we reach the right index here, we're gonna return the right index is gonna be the beginning of the next word. Okay. So We're gonna do on word equal to half a slide, right from left and left to left and left plus word length. Yeah, so we need to for a given substring, like we need to split the substring into the word, right? By splicing it into the word length and then count them. Right? So after we count, we need to plus equal the word length, right? To get to the next word. Right? After we count the all the word of the current substring, we're just gonna iterate through the word, right? And the quantity of the word we just count and compare it with the counter, right? That we that we have in a when originally, right? When we count the occurrence of each word. So if the occurrence of the word, right, is not equal to the occurrence of the original word, then we're gonna return false. Right? So in other words, we return true. If we return true, then we put it in this into our resulting array. Let's try that in the work. Thank you for watching.